Here is our honest review on the Dickinson Mediterranean stove that we bought just about a year ago. We were super excited to upgrade from our Force 10 really old original stove. Kitty. And then we got this thing and we were super stoked at the beginning, and then we realized there were a bunch of things about it that we really didn't like and that just really did not fly. We use this thing all the time. There were just a lot of like things that were just really frustrating about it. So first off, the fact that it came with only one set of pot grabbers, and they're like really not really very secure. Like they slide back and forth. We just sailed down the coast and we had things still sliding around. It was really obnoxious. So the other thing is like little tiny things, like the fact that these little knobs that secure this bracket sit just above the level of the actual like grid or whatever you would call this, where the pots actually sit, and that just messes the whole thing up because your pot can't sit all the way to the edge of this frame. Fathom like having your pot all the way to the edge, because with a 3-burner stove you want to be able to have 2 and potentially 3 things cooking at once. With this design, we really have not been able to cook usually more than one thing at a time, because if I put this big pan on here and I want to heat up some water while I'm cooking my eggs in the morning, I can't, like the burner just doesn't line up. I can't fit this anywhere. And this is not like a weird size or anything. I mean, we've actually bought different pots and pans specifically to try and fit this stove, and it was still just a struggle. So that's a big bummer because, you know, why have a 3-burner stove if you can't use all 3 burners? The other thing is, I don't even want to do it, but when you slide things on this, all of a sudden it'll just make this like nails on a chalkboard sound that's just horrifying. The measurements online made it seem like the cooktop space was the same footprint as our old stove, but what we then found out was this inch-wide gap all around the edge, which is also the vent for the oven, just takes away, you know, 2 inches on either side, takes away a lot of cooking space. So that's why we're having trouble with the burners, not being able to use all 3 burners with our pans. You know, just little things like that, they all add up, and it really just, it became a deal breaker for this stove for us. And as much as we use it and as much as we love to cook, we actually decided to put this thing up on the used market, sell it, and get something that we really liked a lot more. Oh, another thing that, I mean, is kind of specific to our setup, but when I open the oven door, it runs into our fridge door handle. So that's just kind of frustrating. It also only came with 1 rack for the oven, even though it has space for 2 shelves. You know, just little shortcuts that they made with this whole thing. I mean, they could have designed a way better system for this. And how do you have a marine stove that doesn't have pot grabbers for every single burner on the stove? So yeah, I don't know if you can tell, we're quite frustrated with this thing, unfortunately, and it was not cheap. And yeah, we wish it was a more positive review, but that's how we feel about it. Might not be the same for everyone. We've heard people really love them, but that's just how we feel about it with our cooking preferences, and we love our cast irons, and this stove just is not compatible with what we like to do with it. Fathom, come here.